The news I didn't expect from Halo until now. 343 Industries is no longer, now it's Halo Studios. This is absolutely crazy. So how I got started on Halo is one of my first mini games that I played was Halo CE. Those were the golden days. I enjoyed every bit of it, and the days we didn't have to focus on battle passes. It was such a fun game to chill on, play split screen, and just have fun basically with your friends. I'm gonna go over inside of this video of what happened to Halo and where the golden age of Halo started and where it kind of dipped and when Halo game actually declined in fan base and how the feedback went for those games. What happened to Halo? Halo CE through Halo 4 were the good old days. My thoughts and opinions on that. Halo seems like after Halo 5, everything went downhill. That's my thoughts. I think Halo 4 was a really good game. I enjoyed that very much. Following Bungie's completion of their last Halo title, Halo reached 343 Industries was eventually given complete control of the Halo franchise, including the servers and data on March 31st, 2012. The studio's development of Halo 4, which began in 2009, which was completed in September. That's when Bungie left Halo to make the new project, which was Destiny. That's pretty insane right there. Destiny became one of the biggest first-person shooters on the market from PvE, raids, Crucible, which led into Destiny 2. Huge success. Destiny 2 became one of the biggest first-person shooters on the market from PvE, raids, Crucible, which led on to Destiny 2's huge success. So Halo 5, the start of an end. Halo 5 divided its community by adding two sides of the story. Instead of focusing heavily on Master Chief, that's what it originally did for the past Halo games. I'm going to explain how Halo 5's story kind of ruined itself for the community. Two fire teams of human super soldiers. Blue team led by Master Chief and fire teams Osiris led by Spartan Locke. When blue team goes absent without leave to track down the artificial intelligence construct Cortana, Master Chief loyalty is called into question and fire team Osiris is sent to retrieve him. This was a new storytelling for Halo 5 but didn't receive good feedback at all. That's why Halo Infinite failed. Halo Infinite, long awaited next Halo game, was so refreshing, but it wasn't loved by many, including myself. What really surprised me the most, Infinite's gameplay, was the open world aspect soon to be built on that structure, and for it to be canceled overall, it was a good story and a good reboot for the franchise. Day one release of Halo Infinite, it didn't even have a co-op. You could not play with your friends. It was only solo play, which is crazy to me. And also, I think the badass aspect of Halo Infinite is really showing off that grappling hook. So that was a really crazy aspect of gameplay that was really focused on the marketing for Halo Infinite. The grappling hook was pretty insane to make some pretty cool clips. I think the biggest letdown from Halo Infinite was it took away the most important aspect of Halo Infinite, was the finishing moves. That was a big aspect of my gameplay for Halo 5. Doing the finishers from behind on Spartans on multiplayer was like the most badass experience that you could ever experience in Halo. Even doing it in the campaign, just finishing like a grunt or like a elite, it was so badass. Even doing it off of a warthog, the most badass thing ever. I don't understand why they completely moved that from Halo Infinite. That was the biggest letdown that I've saw. I feel like the grappling hook was kind of replacing that kind of gameplay aspect, but it's not as cool. Let's be honest here. So ahead of the final match at today's 2024 Halo World Championship, we saw an unexpected video. It depicted landscapes you might expect from the Halo series. Forerunner architecture, shooting from dramatic landscapes inspired by the Pacific Northwest, gorgeous fields of ice, even a vista blighted and consumed by the flood. Well, of course, we saw the glimpse of the Master Chief and his iconic enemies, even a Banshee arcing past the camera. But what we saw wasn't a look back. This was something entirely new. We're entering a new dawn for Halo. Those new visuals we're creating using Unreal Engine 5. Unreal Engine 5 is probably one of the most powerful engines in the gaming space. That's where like Fortnite was created, which is crazy because I was one of the most popular battle royales out there. And we learned that all future Halo projects will use the engine and that multiple new games using it are in development. Alongside the engine change, the studio is seeing changes in culture, workflow, and how teams are organized to match that new approach. Franchise stewards 343 Industries are changing their name. Halo Studios is here. So the original name was 343 Industries. Now it's called Halo Studios, which was not expecting that at all. Studio head Pearsons defines this less like a clean break and more like the turning page. If you really break Halo down, there have two very distinct chapters. Chapter 1, Bungie. Chapter 2, 343 Industries. Now I think we have an audience which is hungry for more, obviously. So we're not just going to try improve the efficiency of development, but change the recipe of how we make Halo games. So we start a new chapter today. Hopefully they don't change it too much so it doesn't feel like Halo. That would be a huge problem if they did that. So they said the first step, switching from the studio's proprietary Slipspace engine to Unreal, which Slipspace engine was on the Halo Infinite. So that's what Halo Infinite was really based on. That's what they shut off, was the split space engine. To Unreal is a key part of that engine. Previously, 343 Industries needed a large portion of its staff simply to develop a upkeep the engine its games ran on. We have believed that the consumption habits of gamers have changed. The expectations of how fast their content is available, says Hens. On Halo Infinite, we are developing a tech stack that was supposed to set up for the future in games at the same time. As gaming evolves and players increasingly point out how long it takes to see new games from their favorite series, that the team at Halo Studios felt the need to react, as Co-Elizabeth Van Wyck puts in. The way we made Halo games before doesn't necessarily work as well for the way we wanted to make games for the future. So part of that conversation we had was about how we can help the team focus on making games versus making the tools and the engines, alongside the wider changes to how the studio is set up, which you can read more about that below, which I'll put a full article below. Adopting Unreal means Halo Studios is more able to create games with a focus that can satisfy fans, even setting up multiple teams to create different games. But Unreal also comes with inbuilt benefits that would have taken years of work to replicate with Slipspace. Respectfully, some components of Slipspace are almost 25 years old. So that makes sense why they're upgrading to the Unreal Engine 5, obviously, explains studio art director Chris Matthews. Although 343 were developing it continuously, there are aspects of Unreal that Epic has been developing for some time, which are unavailable to us in Slipspace and would have taken huge amounts of time and resources to try and replicate. So that's why Halo is moving to the new studios, because that makes more sense. Because, you know, like I said, the Slipspace engine was holding them back to what they wanted to do inside of Halo. So they can now do that in Unreal Engine 5, which is fantastic to see. One of the primary things that we're interested in is growing and expanding our world so players have more to interact with and more to experience. Nanite and Lumen, Unreal's rendering and lighting technologies, offer us an opportunity to do that in a way that the industry hasn't seen before. As artists, it's incredibly excited to do that work. There's another inbuilt benefit. Unreal is familiar to huge parts of the wider gaming industry, where developers would have to spend time learning how to use Slipspace when joining 343 Halo Studios. Adoption of the industry's leading engine makes it a far smoother process to bring it to new talent, and the new studio is indeed hiring for its new projects now, which is nice to see. It's not just about how long it takes to bring a game to the market, but how long it takes for us to update the game and bring the new content to players, adapt to what we're seeing our players want to say. Van Wyck, part of what is and how we built the game, but another part is the recruiting. How long does it take to ramp somebody up to able to actually create assets that show up in your game? With the move to Unreal, that ramp is shorter, the experience is there, and the series can grow far more quickly, organically, than ever before. Of course, Halo Studios needed to be confident in the switch to Unreal. This isn't a decision taken lightly. The team had to be sure that the first Halo games to come out of non-Slipspace engine would look, feel, and sound right. The team began experimenting and resulted in a research project known as Project Foundry, the source for all of the new clips we saw today. When we decided to Foundry, it wasn't at the point in our plan, says Van Wyck, but we needed to pause and validate is not the right word, but educate and understand what our capability is and assess it so we actually know what we're on the right path. We've intentionally been really quiet upon to this point, but I think today is about just sharing where we are, what our priorities are as a studio, and where the team is. We're really proud of what comes out of a Foundry. So it looks like they showed a picture of the flood. I don't know if it's actually officially returning in the next Halo installment of the series, but that would be really cool if the flood was returning, because I think that the flood, like back in like Halo CE and Halo 2, that's what really brought me into Halo, is the flood. It was such a badass enemy type inside of the game. It was actually so cool. So what does Foundry represent? The team is clear that this is not a new game, but nor it is a traditional tech demo. It isn't just an exploration of what's possible with this engine. It is a true reflection of what would be required for a new Halo game using Unreal, and a training tool for how to get there. Foundry has been made with the same rigor, process, and fidelity as a shipped game would be. Where this type of work's been done historically across the industry is can certain a lot of smoke and mirrors, explained Matthews. It sometimes leads players down paths where they believe it's going to be one thing and then something else happens. Ethos, a Foundry of Fergusley, the opposite of that. Everything we made is built to this kind of standards that we need to build for the future of our games. We were very intentional about not stepping into the tech demo territory. We built things that were truly believed in the content that we built, or at least at a good percentage of it could travel anywhere inside of our games in the future if we so desire it. Hins goes further. It's fair to say that our intent is that the majority of what we showcase in Foundry is expected to be in a project which we are building our future projects. We've seen Foundry promises incredible things named after the Foundry, which Halo lore, the central forge of the mega structure to create the Halo rings themselves. The project saw the team set out to create three distinct biomes in the style of Halo. The goal was, as Matthews puts in, to make something old, something new, and something truly alien. For something old, we see a biome inspired by the Pacific Northwest, a staple of the series, but in dramatic new form. Waterfalls crash over mountains and running creeks becoming the site of Tableau, pitching the Chiefs against two Covenants elites, and the team pushed Unreal to include as much foliage as technically possible. For something new, we see the Coldlands location, a region locked in a deep freeze with snowdrifts covering plateaus and ice reflecting what's above and refracting what's below. And for something alien, we see the Blightlands and brand new take on Halo location, a world consumed by the parasitic flood that expresses purposes of the Blightlands, was to see how this new look Halo teams could push the world itself further than previous Halo games. The results speak for themselves. Even the familiar look new in Foundry, the Chief's armor has been modeled with extreme care down to individual panels on his combat gloves. An elite energy sword now feels less like a solid object and more reflective of the name, a crackling swoosh of a dangerous energy. The aim wasn't just a push the studio, but the engine itself. The Foundry is designed to do things that we haven't seen in games using Unreal across the industry. Halo began its life as a graphical showcase for the original Xbox. The goal is to make that so again. Halo Studios has worked closely with Unreal creators, Epic Games, to ensure that they can reach that lofty goal. Halo is such an incredible franchise, and it's awesome to see Halo Studios already pushing the boundaries of Unreal Engine 5, and said Bill Clifford, Vice President and General Manager of Unreal Engine at Epic Games. We're honored to support the game's team, realizing their creative visions through the Unreal Engine Project. Foundry work demonstrates how they can bring Halo to life with beautiful, detailed, and uncompromised worlds. Of course, the soul of Halo isn't just how it looks, but it feels. Intrinsic dance of its combat, the thud of the weapons, and the sense that you're inhabiting the Master Chief's armor. While Foundries may be a primary visual project, Halo Studios are deeply invested in retaining the essence of what players love about Halo. I think it's pretty well known that switching engine has been a topic that Studios has though about for a long time, says Vanwick. The release of Unreal Engine 5 was when we felt like we could make Halo games that respect and reflect the true soul of Halo, while also being able to build games that can deliver the scale of ambition and content that players want. The spirit of Halo is more than just the visuals, agrees Matthews. It's the lore and the physics, and playing as Chief and you're in this huge tank of a soldier. It's the way that he moves and feels. We're already obsessed about what our plays love about Halo. We're consistently listening to this feedback, and at the core of any initiative like Foundry or any intention that the studio has about how we move move forward. We're thinking about the intangibles of Hinge as the interactions with the Master Chief, or your Spartan, or the enemies. We are very careful about the decisions we're making in the space, down to the precision and authenticity of the weapons and the authenticity of the animations. There are a list of nuances which we use to verify that we're on track. Beyond the visor, so let's talk about what's coming beyond the Foundry. As you might expect, the team isn't talking about exactly what those new games will be right now. We're at the beginning of this new chapter, not the final stage. And it's fair to say that a new Halo game isn't imminent. Halo Infinite will still be support through the Slip Space engine. You can expect more operations and updates to its Forge mode in esports year 4 of the Halo Championship series. Using Halo Infinite has just been announced, but in the background, the next steps for Halo will be taken. The quietness is being designed, hence makes clear that the priority right now is on doing the work, not simply talking about it. One of the things I really wanted to get away from the continued teasing of the possibilities and must-haves, we have to do more and say less. For me, I really think that it's important that we continue the posture which we have right now when it comes for our franchise, the level of humility, the level of servitude, and towards Halo fans. We should talk about things. We have things to talk about at a scale today. It's the first step. We're showing boundaries because it feels right to do so. We want to explain our plans of Halo fans and extract new passionate developers of our team, and the next step will be taking about the games themselves. So what is clear is that yes, it's Halo games, plural, in development right now. Where Halo Infinite saw practically the entire studio is focused on a single evolving project, Halo Studios has calibrated disproportionate, focused on trying to create the conditions to be successful in sacrificing Halo Infinite, says Hinz, but switching to Unreal allows us to put all the focus on making multiple new experiences at the highest quality possible. A major part of this shit has been reorganizing the structure of Halo Studios as a whole in order to give development teams what they need to make something new. At the end of the day, if we built the games that our players want to play, that's how we'll be successful, explains Van Wyck. That's what we should motivate what we build. That's also what the structure has done. We want the people that are day in, day out making the games to be ones to make the decisions of the games. The teams will be seeking more input from outside the studios on those decisions. We're seeking earlier and earlier, wider and wider feedback from our players. She continues, we started with the Master Chief Collection and carried that onto with Halo Infinite. We want to do it even more for our next projects. At the end of the day, it's how do our players evaluate it. 343 Industries was founded to create Halo games, but the impression I get is that in its new incarnation as Halo Studios, the studio has been retooled to put the focus entirely on the goal, without distraction, without impediment, to create better games with players' hopes and wishes at the heart of the endeavor. You asked why or we consider this a new chapter, says Hens. We want a singular focus on everyone in this place, and here is to make the best possible Halo games. So my final thoughts on this, I'm honestly super excited for the future of Halo. I would be lying if I wasn't. The last time I really sat down and actually played Halo was Halo Infinite. It was a long overdue. Yes, it was the most hated. Did I enjoy it? Yes, it was still fun. The game still has its up and downs. It made mistakes. It was fun. And I wish that they would learn from their mistakes, giving the people what they want. It's like they're scared to prioritize a single gameplay mechanic because they're scared that the game would be invested into one thing, which was the finishers. That was so cool in Halo 5, which I talked about earlier. For that to be taken away in Halo Infinite, it was a immediate disappointment for me. And hopefully this Halo rebrand will fix everything. It would be pointless if they did all this rebranding to Halo basically to nothing. That's going to be a huge problem for the Halo series if they really need to step up the game. And as I close this off, let me know what you guys think about this, about Halo rebranding. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are and opinions in the comments below. And thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification to never miss a video. This has been a long session. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.